Let us understand user parameters. In the modify, in the change parameters option, I have user parameters. User parameters are the ones that we give even before starting the model, or we can give it even in between. So here I am giving the length parameter, the breadth parameter, and the expression here you can see I can give the relationship between these parameters. Then I'm going to have the height parameter. This again I can give a formula with the existing parameter. So now when I'm going to create an extrusion, I can apply these parameters. So here I'm going D for dimension, and instead of D4 I can type it as length. So the length parameter is applied. So whatever the value is there in that cell, that will be applied over here. So here I am giving it as breadth, and you can see because I have given the relationship, the same values apply over here. And here I am giving the height. I am going to again type for height parameter, and you can see that my extrusion is ready. Now let us measure this. Now this length is 100 mm. I'm going to change this user parameter. I'm going to modify change parameters. This length I am modifying it to 1500. Now it has scaled up. Let us go to inspect and measure. So here you can see the length as 1500. I can again see this length as 750 and this as 300. So you can see how easily we can change these parameters. We know that gears come in different sizes, but the relationship between the angles and the formula to create the teeth and the diameter will always remain the same. So user parameters play an important role in designing different sizes of gears. So if we are going to create one gear with the right dimensions and right relationships, then the other gears of different sizes can easily be created using this user parameters with very little modifications and in a short time. In olden days, when CAD was introduced, coordinates had more importance than the parameters. Now what does this mean? Let us see with the help of this figure. In this figure, you can see that I have a rectangle, but the length and breadth did not have any significance. So if I had to change the length, I had to modify these coordinates. That is, instead of 150, I had to give 250 and also change the below coordinates. Only then this object would have modified. But nowadays, parametric designing has made the design very simple, because all the parameters like breadth, length, height and all are understood by the software. So this is exactly like how it happens in the real world. If we are designing a box in the real world, it is not of importance to us on where the vertices are going to lie, but it is more important what the length of the box is going to be and height of the box is going to be. So these are the parameters which will be used for designing. So Fusion 360 and all the modern CAD softwares are based on parametric design. Let us understand parametric design better. Let us take an example. I am going to sketch a rectangle. Now you can see that all the constraints are applied automatically, and I am giving D1 dimension as 100 and D2 dimension as 50. Now if I change this dimension, as this is identified as a parameter, that is the length parameter, the body still remains as a rectangle, and you can see that not only that line but the parallel line is also changing to 200. So the shape of rectangle does not change. So when I'm trying to pull at this point, suppose I'm deleting this and I'm trying to pull it, still the rectangle shape is going to be intact. Now I am again giving it as 100. Now you can see that the parameter actually has changed to D3. Now you can see it is D3. So here again D2 is 50 mm. I can also give relationship between these parameters. So I can give this dimension D3 by 2. So I can either type D3 or I can just select it. So when I change it to 300, you can see that it is going to obey the rule and it has changed to 150. Now I can go to modal parameters and see. But here nothing is appearing because I did not yet save. So now I am going to save my file and then have a look at the modal parameters. So now go to modify, change parameters. So in the modal parameters, when I expand, I can see that I have my sketch 1, and in sketch 1 I have two parameters D2 and D3. So here if I change this D3 by 3, automatically it will be changed in the figure also. So now I can see the dimension. It is D3 by 3, that is it is 100. Previously it was 150. So this is how we can manage the parameters using the modify and change parameters option. Parametric design can also be applied to assemblies. In this I have this pill container. If you see, if I am changing the diameter of the base, you can see how cap also has changed. So let us design this and see how we can apply these parameters in assembly. I'm first going to sketch and going to draw a circle. This is going to be the diameter of the base. So here I'm giving it as 100 and the parameter is D1. So for the distance I'm going to give it in terms of D1. That is 5 times of D1 or 5 times of diameter. The height is going to be 5 times. Now the inside thickness I'm going to give it as 2 mm. Now this is ready. I'm going to change this body into a component. I'm going to name it as base. Now that the assembly symbol has come, I can create another component called the cap. Now you can see the cap is activated and the pillbox has been turned translucent. Now I'm going to sketch the cap. I'm drawing the construction line. I'm going to draw the cap using the revolve option. So I'm going to give a little bit of tolerance of 0.2 so that it fits well. I can give the height of the cap proportionate to the base diameter D1. And this height in relationship with the diameter I'm going to specify this. So instead of D1 by 5 I'm changing it to D1 by 2. So this is going to be the extent to which the cap is going to surround this pill container or the base. So now I'm going to rotate this about the axis. Again I'm going to continue by adding one more feature. that is the revolve option for creating the above portion of this cap. Because I have used the projected portion, later it will change according to the changes made in the base portion. I am trying to revolve this arc, but I think the line is interrupting it, so I am going to first delete this line and create the small line so that this is chosen. Now I am going to revolve it. So my cap is ready. Now I am going to shaded mode and I am going back to my assembly. So here I can apply some colors, and for the base, after activating it, I can give a translucent color. Have given acrylic clear. So here my pill container is ready. And now let us try to change the base diameter, that is D1. I am changing it to 50. Now I can go to inspect and measure this. And you can see the radius is 25, but the whole pill box has changed accordingly, including the cap. So this is the advantage of designing things using parameters.